What's going on, everybody? Greg Peters here with the Car Passion channel. Now, we all know the Miata boys just love chasing down a couple extra horsepower. I mean, myself included. I've got a 400 horsepower turbo Miata sitting in my driveway. I could take that thing out and shred the streets anytime I get the need for speed. But here I am making a video for you guys teaching you how to gain just a few horsepower on my stock Miata. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to do a mod called the EXHINTAKE cam swap. For those of you who are not familiar with this mod, I'll get into the details and the specifics of it in just a minute. But basically, we're going to be using OEM Miata parts to gain up to 10 horsepower at the wheels, according to the internet. Now, of course, I'm going to dyno test that claim, but yeah, it should be a pretty cool mod. And it does require some precision drilling of the stock parts, which you do have to be very accurate with. And I know that's intimidating to some people, but all I'm asking is that you open the valves of your mind and intake the information for the duration of this video. You might be mentally exhausted by the end. Okay, I'm done here. All I'm saying is you can do it. Alright, enough with the puns. Let's jump into this highly requested mod that is the EXHINTAKE cam swap. Now, people have been doing this for many years, but what the heck is it and why is it called EXHINTAKE? Well, a long time ago in Miata land, someone took the measurements and figured out that the exhaust cam on the 1.8 liter Miata engines are actually slightly more aggressive in terms of lift and duration than the intake cam. So they figured out how to make some minor modifications and swap out an exhaust cam in place of the intake cam. So what I'm going to end up with at the end of this video is a Miata engine that has 2 exhaust cams, and that is a more aggressive setup. Now, since you're just installing another OEM cam, you should not have to worry about re-shimming the head to adjust the lash, although I highly recommend checking the lash anyways after you install the cam. In fact, you should probably check the lash before you do this mod, and if you're way out of spec, you really shouldn't do it at all. So if you need help adjusting your lash, I've got a video on that, which I'll link in the description below. Now, if you just install the cam gear onto this cam and slap it into your engine, none of the timing marks are going to line up. In fact, the engine won't even start. So you have to drill a new hole in the cam gear so that the cam is clocked correctly in the engine. So the concept here is to print out this template, which is going to show you approximately where to drill the hole. And I say approximately because I did make a mistake here, which I'm going to show you and teach you how to avoid. Also, you need the correct cam gear. You can use NB cam gears on an NA, but you cannot use NA cam gears on an NB because of the timing dimples. That was mistake number 2 that I made right away, is I drilled an NA cam gear, but don't worry, I'm gonna fix all that. So now you just take your paper template and you can hold it up to the light with the cam gear and tape it perfectly into place. You want to be as precise as possible here. Now, I went to drill this hole, and little did I know I drilled it too far away from the center point of the cam because the template does not specify how far from the center to drill the hole. It just suggests that you make a slot that's the same size as the other 3 slots that already exist. Why am I showing you all these mistakes? Because I don't want you to make them. So let's try it again and do it properly this time. If you do drill the hole too far out like I did, you can always Dremel inwards and get it to fit like this, but every modification you have to make to that hole, you're increasing the chances that your accuracy is going to drop. And let me tell you, cam timing is very important with this modification. So what I'm figuring out here is the hole in the cam gear needs to be drilled about 0.463 inches or 11.75 millimeters from the center line of the cam. So I just measure that out, and I'm drilling this hole with a number 7 drill bit that is 0.2 of an inch or 5.1 millimeters. Please ignore the fact that I'm going for the hat trick of errors here, and I'm drilling the hole in completely the wrong spot on the cam gear, but that's okay. I'm just going to put a piece of masking tape over it as to not confuse anyone. The hole needs to be approximately opposite of the eye as shown here. And as you can see, it lines up much better with the dimple on the cam. An additional recommendation I have if you're considering the EXHINTAKE cam swap is to do it with a set of adjustable cam gears, mainly because it's extremely hard to get get the drilling position correct on the stock cam gear. And if you have adjustable cam gears, you can really fine tune how that camshaft needs to be timed in the engine. So stay tuned for the next video. I'll be teaching you all about how to install adjustable cam gears. But for now, let's go ahead and get this camshaft swapped out. Start by removing the valve cover, upper timing cover, and intake system, and relieving the tension on the timing belt. Now, it is possible to do this without removing all the lower timing covers, but if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can take everything off and make it easier on yourself. If you need step-by-step instructions on how to do all of this, I'm going to include my timing belt replacement video in the description below, but I don't want to waste a bunch of time covering things that I've already done here on the channel. So once you get the timing belt loose, you can remove the cam gear from the cam, and then you're going to remove that camshaft. Loosen all the cam caps in stages in the factory specified order, otherwise you can bend or break the cam. And keep in mind, when you remove the cam caps, they have to go back on in the same order, facing the same direction. That's very important. So I advise when you take them off, go ahead and set them up exactly as they were on the engine. That way you don't get anything mixed up, but just in case things do get jumbled up, everyone is marked with a number and a direction. It's really best to just take a picture of the top of the engine before you start taking the cam out. Once all your caps are off, you can just pull out that old intake cam. Now, you do have to make a slight modification to this exhaust cam before it will fit in the intake side of the engine, and that is you have to hack the back part of it off. Now, on the BP05, which is the NA8 engine, this little piece right here actually spins the CAS, but there's no room for it on the intake side, so you just have to cut it off. You can use a Dremel, a hacksaw, a Sawzall. I know it sounds ghetto, but you don't have to worry about messing anything up. You're not gonna like throw off the balance of the engine by cutting this piece off or anything like that. And it's a mandatory part of this mod. I should take this time to tell you that an alternative to this mod is to use a Mazda Speed Miata intake cam, also known as the BP5A intake cam. It's not quite as aggressive as doing the EXHINTAKE swap, but you don't have to cut the cam, and you also don't have to drill the cam gear. And it's rumored on the internet that you can gain about 80% of what you'll get from an EXHINTAKE swap. So that's another option there. Now you can drop the exhaust cam right into the intake slot the same way you took the old one out. And I have mine coated in engine assembly lube, but you can just use regular engine oil. It's fine too. And once that cam is in the engine and everything is torqued back down, you're pretty much back to normal, and you can reinstall the timing belt the way you would if you were doing a timing belt job. Again, that will all be covered in the video link down below if you don't know how to do that. Now, of course, I took some measurements before I put that exhaust cam in. So what you're looking at right here is I have my calipers set up and locked on to the size of the exhaust cam, which is basically showing the amount of lift it has. And when I put it onto the old cam, the intake cam, that air gap that you see there, that is how much more lift the exhaust cam has. The total lift is 8.7 millimeters compared to the stock 8.09 millimeters, or a bump of about 7.5%. So if all goes well, we should see some nice gains on the dyno. People rumor 8 to 10 wheel horsepower, but of course I have to test it for myself. But that's for a future video. For now, let's see if this EXHINTAKE cam swap offers any sound difference. Yeah, sorry to disappoint on that one, but no, there's no notable sound difference. Well guys, I guess that's it. I did the entire mod in just one afternoon, including filming, so despite having a couple hiccups, it is not difficult or very time consuming to do this, and according to the internet, the car could be around 146 wheel horsepower. I'm not gonna know until I take it to the dyno next time, which is gonna be very soon. There's only one thing left to do, and that's take the car for a rip. car definitely feels stout in the top end. It's tough to say how much more power it has, but that it's also kind of untuned, so it might be running a little bit lean with the cam. It might want a little bit more or less ignition timing. I'll find all that stuff out when I do take it back to the dyno. I'm not going to change anything else before I get it back on the dyno, so you'll be able to see exactly what the cam alone is doing. And then when I finish kind of the bolt-on phase of this car, I will throw the stock ECU back on it just to see, once the car's full bolt-on, what is the difference between a tune and stock ECU. I'm really hoping this thing will break the 150 barrier before the nitrous goes in, because the more power the engine makes on its own, naturally aspirated, the more easily it will make power on the bottle. And since I will be on stock bottom end, of course I'm not going to go too crazy, but I would like to see it at least get into the 200s safely on nitrous, because I mean, it'll be a screamer. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hope you guys enjoy your EXHINTAKE cam swaps, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Hey guys, Future Greg here. I just want to say real quick, if you are planning on doing this mod to your Miata, before you install or buy anything, you should really wait for the next 2 videos to come out, because they contain some pretty important information regarding this mod, specifically some interesting findings on the dyno. Now, Craig is very busy, but I told him we really got to get these videos edited and out to the people as soon as possible, and I know he's doing a great job. So anyways, if you guys do have any questions, just drop them down in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed this video, and otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Craig. Oh, shoot. Sorry, boss. Outro.